Good afternoon, everyone. I hear there's somebody back there that's holding up signs of what time it is every minute, so it's making me feel like I have to speak very quickly. Thank you all for coming. We're going to switch gears a little bit here and talk about some extraordinary individuals. These companies are very, very impressive, and I feel like behind every great company, there's a great individual. Behind certainly every great movie, there are usually incredible individuals and incredible stories. A little over 10 years ago, there was a book that was published that rocked the world. It was called Rape of Nanking. It was written by one of our own committee members. Her name was Iris Chang. And she had assiduously researched a topic that is well known to many people in this room, but had not really been known to the public at large. And she brought a lot of attention to this subject matter that was so painful and so powerful. And her life was shortly thereafter ended tragically in about 2004. In fact, I'm just going to take a moment now to introduce Iris Chang's parents. They're in the audience with us, Zhang Yingying and Zhang Shaojing. Stand up, please. I want to introduce them because I know they're very, very inspirational to her in choosing this subject as a book, and they should be very proud of the legacy she left behind with it. The story goes on from there. Several years later, or shortly after her death, a man in Washington was reading her obituary, and he was someone that was kind of a self-made man, came from very humble beginnings. His parents were from Greece, and he was really haunted by this story. He had never heard of the rape of Nanking. He apparently had sort of thrown out the newspaper where this obituary was written, but it was sitting on top of the trash pile, and Iris's eyes were kind of following him back and forth, and he felt really compelled to pursue this story. He ended up buying the book from Amazon, and he couldn't put it down, and he had also vowed to himself, apparently years earlier, when he almost died in a plane crash, that he made a list of 101 things that he wanted to do, and one of them was to make a movie. And so he decided in a way that has become a little bit more common these days to take the bull by the horns. The Hollywood that I grew up in was one where 6 or 8 major studios dominated the landscape completely, and that was where all the films were made. In the last 5 or 10 years, certain individuals have come in and have actually really made a huge difference in finding a subject that they're passionate about and putting their money where their heart is, and that's exactly what Ted Leonsis did. Ted Leonsis was meant to be here today. He's got a number of other interests and I guess you'd say, I don't know if you call it a hobby. I'm new to the world of sports, but apparently 2 of his teams have just made the playoffs. Am I getting this right? The Washington Wizards and the Washington Capitals. Bizarrely, with both teams that were doing very, very badly suddenly this week are in the playoffs. This is what I'm told. To some of you, this will really resonate. I think I know that one of the teams is a hockey team and the other is a basketball team. But so Ted obviously has a light side and a side that was dedicated to film. He made a film, and it's called Nanking. And Ted, when he decided to make this movie, decided he would also go after the best possible director he could find. That director stubbornly turned him down the first few times I hear because he knew it was such difficult material, but finally he's seated, and he's here with us today. Bill Guttentag, please welcome him.
Hi, on behalf of Ted Leonsis and producer Nanking, my directing partner Dan Sturman, producer Michael Jacobs, and Violet Dufang, the film's co-producer. All of us are extremely grateful to you, Janet, and to the Committee of 100 for having us here, to be here with you. I first came to work on this film when Ted sent me the book, The Rape of Nanking, and on the cover it said, The Forgotten Holocaust. And I believe the words forgotten and Holocaust should not be in the same sentence, and I hope in some small way our film can contribute to rectifying this. You know, we first began to work on this film, I realized how very little I knew about the subject. You know, most Westerners don't know about this, and really, we should. You know, I had read books and newspaper accounts, but it barely scratched the surface. And as I got into it more, I realized it was going to be a long journey, but I also learned it was going to be a very emotional, affecting, and moving journal. And as we set out to make the film with Japan, the United States, and China, there were several crucial things that were working in our favor, but most importantly of all, we had trust. We had trust from extremely brave men and women who endured incredible suffering 70 years ago and then trusted us with their life stories. We had the trust of an amazing Chinese film crew whose dedication is reflected in every frame, and we had the trust and the kindness of two inspiring people, Ying and Xiaojing Chang, who had an extraordinary daughter, Iris. And anyone who makes a film on this subject follows in Iris's footsteps, and we owe a tremendous debt to her. But most importantly of all, we had the trust and support of the Chinese people, men and women, politicians throughout the nation, historians, survivors, all of whom trusted us with this important story. And for this, I'm grateful beyond words. I mean, really, this is a subject that's about the very worst and the very best in mankind. Atrocities of unimaginable proportions were committed in Nanking. But there was also a small group of Westerners that banded together and showed that with little more than their moral courage and their conviction, they could save the lives of thousands of people. So we honor those people. We honor Chinese and Western heroes in Nanjing who prove that against overwhelming odds, right can and will win out in the end. I'm profoundly grateful for all the support which you have shown us, for the Committee of 100 support, for showing this film tonight, and for allowing me to be here before you. Thank you very, very much.
I think that ends the luncheon portion of our program. I just wanted to add that on my drive over this morning, I noticed it was a gorgeous day, and I personally spoke to the weather gods, and it looks like I'm still in good stead with them, so we'll try to keep the weather good for you all weekend. All right, take care. See you soon.